Luke, I'll use you real quick since we you know what's going on. So remember, so to get warmed up, we're going to do like our tie game here. So you guys get to pick the tie up, the offensive guy. We're going to both offensive, but you'll have one guy that gets to choose the tie, and then you swap. So you can choose either like a Russian, you can use your underhook, overhook, you guys can use inside ties. It's up to you, okay? But the biggest thing that we're trying to do is just light resistance here, like moving back and forth, but we're trying to make a connected hands or a circle around our partner. Our circles can be either body, leg. The next round, we'll go ahead and add in circles over the top. But let's not do that just yet, okay? Let's just do body lock and leg. I'm gonna add in one difficulty here. If you're more experienced and you feel like you're hitting these too quickly and the other guy's taking forever to do it, the more advanced guy has to hit both. So let's say he gets a body lock, then you guys will reset from your position, and then now like we'll both go again, but I have to get to that, okay? So before that's considered a win, and then he would do the tie up afterwards. Does that make sense? Cool. All right, so remember, choose your tie up, get your circles, and then he gets to choose his tie up, and then go from there. Cool. All right, guys, break on 3. 1, 2, 3. What's on this? Now we have our circles here and here. Like I was saying before, I know technically this is a circle, but let's just keep it just to the double unders for now. Now we can add in trying to get to like our chest to his back. So it could be something like this where maybe I start to throw and I get this kind of connection right here. This is good. Don't forget, you guys can also go from the back. So let's say I do a throw by. Count. We're gonna do this round. We'll do one more round with specific takedowns from the circle. Okay. So pick your point here, and now from here we're gonna either go here, here, and now we have the adage of controlling from our chest to their shoulders here. Okay. Questions? All right, break on 3. 1, 2, 3. The couple things that I noticed you guys are starting to really do really well is you're starting to use movement to get to a dominant control. So like, I think you did. I think I saw a couple other people do it as well. But this is here, I just got the pull into the legs. I saw a couple other versions of that, but that's the name of the game here. So, also, don't forget we can also use someone creating movement to make something happen. So, Luke, go ahead and just like pull me, like whatever grip, and just pull me towards you. I saw a pull into the single. Wasn't super pretty, but that's a really good thought process, right? So, one more thing. We're gonna add in another layer to this. We're gonna add 3 types of takedowns. You can either take the person down, like let's say if you have a body lock, you can be in front and use rotation to finish, or you can be behind his legs, something like this, or this here, and you can use rotation. The only thing I don't want to see you guys do, just for the sake of the drill, I don't want to see any big throws or see any sitting on the side of our partner. It's got to be in front or behind. Nice and controlled as well, okay? Here. When you guys are being thrown, make sure you're break falling. Everybody knows you feel good with the break falls. Just remember, tuck your chin. Don't hold your arms out. Everything comes in, and you're slapping the mat. That's it, okay? Okay. You can also use, when I get my triangle here, I can also pull his hands to the mat. So we have three options. Hands to the mat, forward twist, behind the hips twist. Questions? All right, break on three. 1, 2, 3. Everyone's doing a really good job with that. We had a little bit of resistance to it. The biggest thing I want you guys to think of with this is like, there's a million ways to take somebody down, but all we're trying to use is just good connection to our partner, which is why we're just using circles. Gives us good connection. And then we're learning like beginning takedowns of such as like just rotating and manipulating my partner's bounce and base just through a twist. And that's the reason why we're doing this drill, just get kind of used to it. That way there's not a whole lot of athleticism, and we can learn how to mess with somebody's base while keeping a pretty decent base ourselves, okay? Cool, so that's all we're gonna do for the wrestling portion. Let's work on our back. So Tuesday we talked about making circles while trapping an arm. So same concept, I'm looking just to make a circle with my hands and with my legs. We didn't talk about the hand fight, which I want us to just to learn how to hold the position and execute from there first, and then we'll worry about entries afterwards. But we're gonna start from little cross gripping or straight jacket, whatever you wanna call it. My top hand will control his top hand. Bottom goes to bottom, like this underneath will go to the bottom. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fall away from my top arm. This is the kind of control I want, just for two reasons. One, so I can prevent him from getting his head to the mat with my head, and the other so I can move his arm around a lot more freely. Okay, so that's the only two reasons why we're doing that. We're gonna block, control, and then create a closed circle. Now, play around with this. I want you guys to try and put his hand below his chest, close to the belly button as you can. You're just gonna touch your wrist or your thumb with your heel. You guys can go above the wrist, you can go above the elbow, or you can go above the shoulder. And it's gonna depend on kind of like your partner's resistance with the arm, but just kind of play around with that and see what you guys come up with, and then we can add in some more details. Questions? All right, break on three. 1, 2, 3. So Phil brought up a really good point. Like, the reason why we're starting here first is like, I feel like when we're learning a position, we need to learn it in this order. It goes maintenance, execution, and then entries. I feel like that's, I don't know, what works best for me, because most of the time you can kind of stumble your way into something like, oh man, I just landed in the back control with this. Sometimes it happens, right? It's more organic versus like learning how to hold a position. That's, in my opinion, the toughest thing to learn how to do. And then of course, you know, execution and then entries. But when we get here, what I want you guys to do we're gonna do, I think 2-3 minutes. We're gonna learn how to hold this position. So we're gonna get to whatever configuration you guys want. But we're gonna have our feet towards his hip pocket, and we're gonna have a 2-on-1 grip. All I want my partner to do is just to kind of play around with this and try and escape this hand. He can try and free this hand, he can do whatever, he can rotate whatever he needs to do. And I'm just trying to hold on to this. And we're gonna do that for like 30 seconds or whatever. And be like, okay, I feel like I've got this pretty well. And then we'll rotate, okay? So just go ahead and go and do your thing, try. And I'm just trying to keep my feet here. Maybe I try to improve the position. Nice, good. See, I did that. Keep going. Okay, cool. We got free. Okay, now I'm thinking, okay, he was able to isolate this leg and then free his arm. So I need to prevent that. So he goes again, like good trap. Then he goes again. Go ahead. So I just need to prevent him from getting to that leg. Nice, okay, so he was able to free his hand and then do that. So we're just trying to learn how is my partner escaping, and then now that I see that path, then I'm gonna try and cut him off there. Makes sense. Just back and forth every 30 seconds or so. You guys can kind of feel it. If you have any questions, call me over and I'll help you out. All right? Break on 3. 1, 2, 3. My partner is still just trying to escape, which getting that arm free is an escape. However, now we can use a submission to do that. So we have 2 main options. Actually, let's say 3 main options. So here, I've got control. You guys can, like on Tuesday, how we had our setups with the high shoulder and everything, we can use a rear naked choke. We can use a Kimura grip to our back triangle, or we can use, let's go back, the Kimura grip to an arm bar. Sorry about the slap there. So I just want the guy escaping to feel the threat of the submission, because it helps you retain the position. So he might take more risks if he knows I'm not going to sub him. But if he starts to, let's say he starts to pay attention to just my feet, now I can start to slip in the choke here. Or maybe he starts to do too much of a rotation. He starts going this way, and then now he's got to deal with an arm bar. Things like that. You can make it so your partner wants to come back in and just make sure he's not moving forward. Any questions on that? Cool. All right, break on 3. 1, 2, 3. Anything about what we went over before we close it out? Okay. So, remember when we have this back control, remember, we're just trying to get an advantage here by using our circles. So I'm trying to make a circle over his arm, isolate it. I can use a circle to isolate. And then also, when we're controlling, 2 things. One that'll keep us, help us maintain the back is, one, I want to make sure that we're always in line, meaning my hips are facing the same way as his hips and my head's next to his head. Don't let our heads misalign, and don't let our hips misalign, okay? And the second thing that'll really, really help you guys with this is, as people start to escape, they tend to leave openings. So if they get occupied with the feet, I'm gonna get my choke. If they get occupied with the hand, that'll lead to maybe an arm bars, okay? So just keep that in mind when you guys are controlling the back. Looks like everyone's really doing a really good job with the back and forth here. Questions? All right, guys, break on 3. 1, 2, 3.